Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, your host for the evening, Mr. Lloyd Griffith.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening and welcome to Gloucester Park for the Grimsby Town Player of the Year Awards for 2022 to 2023. This is the first proper Player of the Year Award ceremony since 2019, and crikey, a lot has happened since then. A global pandemic which saw games played behind closed doors, a relegation to the National League, a takeover of Grimsby Town Football Club, the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, a promotion straight back into the Football League, and here we are 4 years later, and let's face it, there is a lot to celebrate tonight. Which brings us on to this year, and what a year it has been, with arguably the shortest pre-season known to man after that incredible playoff run. Paul and the team then had to hit the ground running, and it's fair to say it's been a season to remember. A mammoth 59 games played in total in the league and various cup competitions, and we're on course for our highest league finish for nearly 20 years, solidifying our place as a Football League team. But it's fair to say that's not what stole the headlines this year. The Mariners had an unbelievable run in the FA Cup, beating 5 teams in leagues above us, not only becoming history makers in doing so, but becoming FA Cup quarter-finalists for the first time since 1939. Round of applause for that history-making team. My glamorous assistant Scott Woodthorpe is going to be coming up to the stage and asking questions to Paul Hurst and some of the players from that run in a minute. But for now, let's relive some of those magic moments why I awkwardly put the lectern behind this stall. Gentlemen, please welcome you, joining not just Scott Woodthorpe, but Paul Hurst, Benita Rossi, Luke Watford, and Gavin Holohan!
Hello? Hello?
Well, thank you, and thanks for everyone for coming to Menominee tonight for this historic chat that we're about to have with these 4 men. The microphone works now, Gav, does it? Yeah, okay. When you see scenes like that, Paul, I'll start with you, the gaffer, and you see scenes like that we just saw, how does it make you feel?
fantastic start. That's not how I felt either, them noises. What I did see is getting hammered at Brighton. That was the last image I saw. No, very, very, very proud, of course. A fantastic run. As you say, historic. I think you built us four up too much. An historic chat. These three must have got some good things to say, because I'm not sure I have, but no, it's made the season that extra special. His first season back in the EFL, of course, but to have that cup run, totally unexpected. An absolute fantastic achievement from the players. You know, some massive efforts in there to beat the teams that they managed to beat. And also, you know, the thing that does stand out on a serious note, looking at those images, was the fans. You know, the followings that we had in particular were incredible, and they're the moments that will, I think, stay with all of us, I'm sure, for the rest of his lives.
Yeah, what was it like for the players? Danilo, I'll start with you. What was it like with the atmosphere and the connection with the fans?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a great cup run, and obviously going away to Luton first and seeing the fans behind and giving us the extra push to get back into the game. And then obviously we came back to BP, and the energy there from the start was unbelievable, and it pushed us through. And I don't really need to say too much about Brighton and Southampton, because I think it speaks for themselves, the scenes that we had. So that was fantastic, and we're all really grateful for it.
Yeah, Gav and Luke as well. Those scenes at the end of the Brighton game were something to behold, because it was a strange atmosphere, because we had lost 5-0, but it felt like everyone was a winner in the end, wasn't it? And it was like that.
Yeah, exactly. The scenes at the end, you don't get that usually after a 5-0 drubbing, which, look, it just showed how special the day was, and how much, you know, all the fans that travelled enjoyed it, and they could see that, you know, we put everything into it, and no, just special memories, and, you know, one that we'll, you know, look back on in years to come.
And Luke, it was your second quarter-final involved as a player. Your last one, 2017, with Lincoln City, which also, I don't want to remind you, also conceded 5 that day as well, but at Arsenal.
Too many similarities.
But I mean, what an achievement, you know, for you as an individual to get to 2 quarter-finals.
Yeah, to be fair, I never thought I'd see another quarter final again after the first one, obviously. But no, credit to the staff and the players for helping us get there. And as you said, the Brighton game at the end, I think there's a photo on social media of the players just stood there and soaking it all in, listening to the fans and watching them celebrate as you said, we got beat 5-0. And listen, there's no disgrace when you see what Brighton are doing to a lot of Premier League teams since we've played them. So no, it was fantastic, and I preferred the Southampton one, to be honest, because we're celebrating a win. But no, the Brighton one will stay with me for a long time after the game.
And Paul, if we go back to the first round against Plymouth, and we were 1-0 down after 5 minutes, I mean, it seems so long ago, and then we absolutely destroyed them and tore them apart, and it looks like they could win League One.
Yeah, they're not a bad team either, and I expected the cup run to be very brief, but thankfully it wasn't. And what's sort of nice for us, I think, as staff, was watching Plymouth in the lead up. Very clear how they played. They didn't change that. They changed 1 or 2 players, but nothing major. It was still a strong team that the lads beat. But you come up with a game plan, and it kind of worked to perfection on the day. We had Ryan Taylor get injured in the build-up against his former club, which was a blow to us. So we kind of changed some of the thoughts of where we would play, and perhaps it did us a favour in one sense. It worked out, but it's nice when it works out like that, because you always go into a game with ideas and highlight weaknesses, strengths that you have to nullify, and that day it all came together and was a special performance, and as you said, the start of the journey.
Yeah, we think also the game against Luton here as well. I mean, those 2 games that spring out to my mind as, you know, the performances of the season, where we did not look like we were going to get beaten that day.
No, we didn't, and you know, we had a cross from Danny Amos that went in just before half time that worked out brilliant for us. Danny's done well. He's, you know, I thought he was a player. He looks like he's a dancer that's just plays every now and again. So that's really good, really positive for us moving forward. We might have some moves at the end of the night, I'm not sure. But I think that all the results realistically, even the Burton game, you know, Luke was missing for that one, so we had to sort of change. He's been near enough and ever present this season, so that was a challenge. The lads stood up to it. It was an awful day, conditions. It was on TV, broadcast worldwide, I believe. I think everyone fell asleep, but thankfully we won, and that was sort of the important part, which kept our run going.
Danilo, do you think the team didn't get the praise that it should have, and it kind of went under the radar, particularly those performances in those early rounds against Plymouth and Cambridge?
Yeah, I think quite possibly maybe not being selected for a TV game early on, you could say that. But I think from the team point of view, we just kind of wanted to go under the radar and no one really take too much notice of us till the latter stages where we can keep putting in performances, and thankfully we went and beat 5 teams all in higher leagues than us, so that was a really good performance and a really good cup run.
Paul, were you surprised by that? It kind of went under the radar. I remember watching the highlights on BBC One that night, and it was like 20 seconds of the 5-1, demolition of Plymouth.
Yeah, it was, but I think there was a team that we'll be facing next season that we managed to beat in the playoffs that seemed to have took a lot of the limelight and headlines. They finally got knocked out, so eventually the club and the players got the credit that they deserved.
And Gav, as we went into the next round after the Cambridge game, did the players sense a belief that they could do this? Because it was quite historic, really, to reach that round. It's been a long time since the club had got that stage.
Yeah, obviously, after we beat Cambridge, that in itself was a big result. Obviously, going away to any League One club is going to be difficult. And yeah, I suppose that gave us a bit of belief then going forward into the next round that we can either home or away we can turn teams over from a higher league. So it gives us massive confidence going into the next round, and it just kind of snowballed from there. The momentum got going, and we just kept going with it.
Yeah, and you must have been watching the draws as well on the Sunday afternoon or wherever they were, just hoping for that plum tie, really, and kind of, I think the fans felt a bit underwhelmed, I think it's fair to say, with some of the draws, but as it happened, they turned out to be quite good draws, didn't they, Luke?
Yeah, as you say, I think there a little bit of disappointment after every draw, really, even the Southampton one, when we managed to pull a Premier League team finally. And obviously we know the result there. And I remember in the build up to that, people were sort of, Southampton are bottom of the Premier League and stuff like that. But end of the day, they're still worlds away from us as players. At the end of the day, Premier League players, and it was still a massive mountain to climb to go there and get the result as we did. And then again, even the Brighton one, you're looking for a Man United or something like that, and we got Brighton away. But no, it was a special day, and it'll live long with the lads, all of us.
And the Luton Town result, that's not to be sniffed at either, because again, this is a team that could be in the Premier League next season. Luton are absolutely flying, 3rd in the Championship. And I remember the game at Kenilworth Road, Gav, you scored, didn't you, for 1-0 with a header, and then they went 2-1 up, and you kind of sensed that the crowd were getting on top of the game. But then we got that goal, Paul, didn't we, immediately through Harry Clifton, and it kind of swung the other way, and deservedly got the replay.
Yeah, I think we could have won it in the end. With Danilo's flick for Harry to equalise very quickly, which I think was probably important. We took the lead with Gav's header, which was something that we'd talked about, highlighted. That again, that's nice when that happens. But in all the run, what I would say is I think we deserve it. They weren't lucky victories. You touched on Cambridge. We absolutely dominated that game. I think they had one shot on target or effort, and it went in. So that was frustrating, and thought we'd probably have to put with a replay from that one. But I think we deserved all the wins. Southampton, of course, they had a lot of possession, etc. But Max made some saves. But I don't think he was overworked, and that was credit to the work rate and commitment, discipline that the players put in. So I think it was one of those runs where we totally deserved it as a football club, and again, just a massive credit to the players.
I think we spoke after the games, Paul, throughout the season about, do you prefer to play against sides higher up, because it is just a bit more open?
Open, but also the higher you go, my experience at least, is you get a clear picture of what teams want to do. Respectfully to the league we're in, because we kind of mid-table, so that we've got to include ourselves in it. But you watch some opposition, which we do, and come away going, I don't really know what they do. It's all a bit messy, or can be at times. Some of the better teams that's why I like playing Notts County last season in the playoffs. I think we were so prepared for that game, and I know it took a last minute sort of equaliser and then a winner, a late winner, but those are far better to prepare for as staff rather than some of the teams you watch and it's just like, I've got no idea what they're going to do. I don't really know what they're trying to do. So from that point of view, higher opposition, it is a little bit easier to prepare for in one sense, a harder challenge, when the game actually comes around. What I would say is Brighton was a little bit stressful and we didn't have a clue what to do against them, as most teams are finding out, because they're my new adopted side. I love watching them, watched them again against Man United the other night. Should have been in the FA Cup final in truth, and yeah, I think teams are going to try and emulate them. I think that's really difficult because it's a sensational brand of football that they play.
Yeah, just mentioning about the Brighton game, is that the best team you've all come across as opposition?
As a manager, yeah. I was lucky enough to play against Liverpool in the FA Cup as a player. That might have just edged it. But yeah, in terms, like I said, trying to set up from a management point of view, some of these lads, I don't know, Dan played up front, he was supposed to be up front, spent a lot of time in our half, and probably had about 3 touches. It was a tough day for him, but tough for everybody, because they are a great side.
Yeah, Danilo, I just mentioned about the Luton game as well. You were thrust into the side, weren't you? Because there was a distinct lack of options in the squad. Obviously, John McAtee was cup tied against his parent club. So you came in, and to be fair, you put in some amazing performances, especially at Kenilworth Road and in the home game here at Blundell Park. And I think the fans really appreciated you in your efforts for the FA Cup this season.
Yeah, I think it's one of them things the gaffer and Doig, everyone bangs on about, is making sure you're ready. You don't know when you're going to get your chance, and could have probably picked two games maybe a bit easier to have your chance in again instead of the Championship side. But no, I wanted to go out there, make more so for the boys. They've worked so hard to get there, and I wanted to come in and play my part and try and progress, which we thankfully did. So, no, credit to the coaching staff and the boys for getting us there.
And of course, you played your part in the famous win at St Mary's at Southampton. How is the back?
Yeah, still a bit sore, but I've seen more a few times, so we're getting better.
But that's what you've got to do, isn't it? You've got, it's the dark arts of football, and sometimes we've been criticised for not doing that, and other teams are doing it. So, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah, I think, listen, we had VAR there, we knew it was going to be there. You maybe look at when you're defending corners in League Two, you can put someone in a headlock and give them an elbow and nothing's going to be given. It's very different, obviously, when the cameras are on you, and I felt him touch my back and thought, right, let's give it a go and see what happens, eh? And thankfully we got a penny from it. Gav, tallest man in the room, slotted it home.
Yeah, Gav, if we just turn to you with that Southampton game, I mean, it was an amazing night. It must have been an incredible night for you, and what pressure for you. I was watching on TV at home in front of a national audience, and it must have been, amazing for you to score 2 goals at a Premier League ground, and and for the winner, and to put us through to the quarters.
Yeah, just obviously touching on Danilo going down, I was cursing him, to be honest. Put me under more pressure again. I was asking him to get up. No, yeah, look, that's a special night. Not like obviously for me personally, but for everyone involved. Just an amazing night. Obviously going there as massive underdogs, and but I just had a sneaky feeling going into the game. I don't know why. Maybe it was just being a bit naive, but I just fancied us to cause an upset, and. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bit pessimistic, but it was a brilliant night, and a massive shift from everybody, and obviously to score the 2 penalties is something that will live with me forever.
Were you slightly concerned with the start of that game? I remember the first 5-10 minutes. It was quite a nervy game, wasn't it? And it was like, this is going to be a long night.
Yeah, I think I looked around to you and kind of puffed my cheeks as if to say we could be in trouble here in the first 10-15 minutes. We struggled to get to grips with the game, the pace they were playing at, which is understandable. The difference of the levels that we play at. But I felt after that, to be honest, once we got to grips with it, we played some good stuff. And as the gaffer touched on, I don't think you know, they had many chances, and you know, I think we gave as good as we got. Yeah, obviously you need a bit of luck with the penalties to get through a tie like that, and you know, luckily luck was on our side that night.
What was going through your head when you were taking those penalties? I mean, how do you remain so cool?
I think the first one was probably, I was a bit more nervous for the first one, which everyone kind of asked, surely it would have been the second one, but I think it was the long wait with the VAR decision for the first one it was just killing me. It was agonising just waiting for it to be given. But then the second one, obviously, probably confidence from the first one. Was just confident that I'd stick it away. But yeah, just trying to keep as calm as possible. Don't overthink the situation. Just continue what you practice in training and try and put it away.
And Luke, if I turn to you, it must be amazing to see how many fans travel to these games, particularly the ones that are so far away.
Yeah, I think there was a struggle for tickets as well, if I remember rightly. I think we took, was it 4,500 nearly to both games, and I think we probably took double that if we were allowed to, if they had allocation letters. So, as Gav touched on there before, it's a massive driving force when you're going away and you've got a mountain to climb, as we did at Southampton and then Brighton. It does really get the lads that extra little push when you're 2-1 up at Southampton with sort of 5-10 minutes to go, and they're throwing the kitchen sink at you. It really does. It makes the world of difference. Unfortunately, what we did right in the Southampton game, we managed to stay in the game in the first 10 or 15 minutes, like Gav just said there. Against Brighton, we didn't manage to do that. I think that's massive when you're playing teams in higher divisions, to try and stay in the game in them first 15-20 minutes. And as I said, unfortunately against Brighton, we didn't manage to do that and let the game get away from us. But as I touched on before, it's no disgrace. They're ripping Premier League teams apart, so we can stall as I know.
And of course, you can't have celebrated too much after that Southampton game, because you had the Carlisle game just 3 days later, and it must have been such a hectic schedule at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think a couple of lads were wanting a little beer after the Southampton game to sort of celebrate, but I asked the gaffer and he said no chance because we've got Carlisle in 2 years. We might have had one, I think we were allowed one. We might be allowed one, but we weren't allowed many at home. No, the lads just wanted to get together and sit and talk about it. So we had a little game of cards, and I think we were allowed 2 maximum. But in all seriousness, the league form was the most important thing, at the time, and we had a big trip at Carlisle away, one end of the world to the other. So rightly so, he let us enjoy it for a little hour, and then we had to get our heads back on that long trip to Carlisle. So,
Paul, how do you prepare when you take on these Premier League teams?
The same, in truth. Nothing changes in terms of, like I said, it's just easier in looking at what the style of play, at least. What is difficult is we've no idea what they're going to do in terms of team selection, and that was interesting. Brighton, you kind of go there and you're thinking, yeah, they're doing really well, they might just rest a few players. The team sheet come in and I'm reading it thinking, I think he's got confused who he's playing. He's playing Grimsby, what are you doing? I could argue it was a stronger team than what I played against Crystal Palace in midweek, in the lead up to the game. So he's a foreign manager, it's new to him, I don't know, but I don't know if he did get a bit confused. But other than that, you do a lot of the same things. What I would say is we went away as we would have, but stopped. We actually stopped over the Southampton game because of the travel to Carlisle. Luke forgot to mention that he didn't go to Carlisle. My decision, admittedly, but some of them did get a rest. And obviously that didn't quite go the way we wanted, but it was done with the right intentions at least. But we had a couple of nice hotels to stop at, which we're very grateful for. But ultimately, not much changes. You try and be as professional as you can, no matter whether you're facing, as it was, Cambridge, Burton, or whether it was Southampton or Brighton.
And then at that point, you've beaten Southampton, and it's history making for the club. It's the first time they've reached the quarterfinal since before Second World War. And at this point, is it very easy to get carried away with all that, or how do you keep a level head, Paul?
I think we found it quite easy as staff, and the players will probably say we tried to make sure that was the case. But there's no doubt it's a massive game, and it's kind of catch-22. With the part of me, it's like, we have got other games. I can remember coming after we beat Southampton, the next home game, and the stewards were just talking about the Brighton game. I'm like, we've got a game today, and they've no interest in it whatsoever. I think their heads were obviously on that game, and as players, I think credit to them. We had some good results after that. Not, the Carlisle was difficult, but I think was it Sutton we went to in the lead up to that game, or was it after Brighton? We drew, I think. Was it? Luke said had too many balls, he can't remember. Gav's probably had a couple of Guinnesses. Dan, I'm not sure. Orient is gone. Which, if it was, that was a really good performance, and that's what I liked about the players, as in either side of that game. It wasn't like the season's finished afterwards, or we were just focusing on the Brighton game. They put in a really good performance against Sutton. For me, I know you said about that stands out as one of the better performances of the season for me.
And then we've got the Brighton game, which I guess it's just all about soaking it all in. There's that small chance that we could have done it and got through to the semi, which would have just been bizarre, but a phenomenal achievement. But as soon as that ball was kicked, you could tell that Brighton meant business that day, didn't you?
Yeah, I think from the second we turned up, you knew they meant business. Obviously, like Gaffer said, when the team sheet came in, and the first 5 minutes you're chasing shadows, trying to get close to them, and you look and the ball's on your left, and next thing you know it's 40 yards down and you're running back towards goal. So it's in a Premier League side, they're a great side as well this year, and I think we've done really well just to stay in the game till, the 60th, 70th minute, and obviously fans had a great day out, and I think just for the club on a whole it was just a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, what was the experience like for you guys that day at Brighton?
I hated it, I'll be honest. Absolutely, it was just...
Seriously, really? What?
No, obviously the occasion was brilliant and that, but we spoke about it after. It's difficult to enjoy games like that, because like you said, you are just chasing shadows, and you think you'll get close to somebody and they'll just pop the ball around you, and then they're out the other side, as Dan was saying. It was just a really difficult day, a lot of running, a lot of hard work and that, but the actual occasion, it was brilliant, obviously, and seeing the fans and the singing after the game, as Luke said, we couldn't help but just stand there and appreciate that. But the game itself was it was a difficult one.
Obviously gone down in history now. How soon after that Brighton game did it sink in that you are history makers for this football club and will forever be remembered?
I think it's one of those really. I've said it before. I think when I retire from football, you might look back and probably appreciate it a lot more than I actually do now. It's maybe difficult, there was games coming thick and fast every Saturday, Tuesday and stuff like that, so maybe in the summer, when the season's finished finally, and as I said, when I retire I might look back and you get little bits of memorabilia, programmes and match balls and shirts from the opposition and stuff like that, so it's when you've got kids as I have myself, it's good for them to have a little look at and stuff when they get a little bit older, so
yeah. Did you manage to get the shirts from the Brighton game and Southampton?
Yeah, I managed to get Theo Walcott's at Southampton and then Lewis Dunk's against Brighton. So I think most of the lads managed to do that, and I think they're quite good really. They offer the shirts out no problem and stuff like that, so they're willing to do that.
Did anyone want yours?
Yeah, funnily enough, they did actually take them in return, which was again credit to them, because obviously they probably just threw them in the bin after. But credit for them for asking. They didn't have to do that. But, yeah, little shirt swap and stuff like that, so it's good of them.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything for the FA Cup run. If there's anyone who would like to ask a question from the audience to any of our history makers here, then feel free to shout out.
Is that Giles at the back? Has he got a question? What's your question? Was that one of the most expensive drinks ever bought? Brighton away. Yeah, a little bit of a private thing, but Giles ordered a drink, and I would suggest not ordering the same drink ever in a bar when you're in Brighton or near there. He knows what I'm on about.
Okay, we'll leave that there. But no more questions anyway. Any questions from the audience? No? Well, it's been a fantastic achievement for the football club. History makers for 22-23. Let's give it up for these four, the history makers. Thank you very much. And here's Lloyd Griffith back.
Okay. Also, I'm not. There's time at the end of the awards to have photos with the players and get them signed. But it's worth just having a look how clean their trainers are. It's unbelievable, honestly. I was listening to them, but I was just looking how clean. They can't be that clean. They're so clean. Anyway, let's have a look later. But as was alluded to in a lot of those questions there, these players would be playing to empty stadiums if it wasn't for you, the fans. You're there game after game, complete with a brand new shoal of Harry the Haddocks, cheering on the lads come rain or shine. And let's face it, there has been a lot of rain this season. And it's not just at home where we have the advantage in numbers, singing our hearts out for the lads. It's the Tuesday nights in October, freezing your bits off in Barrow, making colossal away days even when train strikes scupper your travel plans, or packing the Harrogate away end with Boxing Day flatulence. So please, give yourselves, the best fans in the league, if not the country, a massive round of applause. Honestly. Harrogate absolutely stacked. And as well as recognising the players tonight, we also need to thank the staff at the club who work tirelessly behind the scenes, who you might not necessarily see. The grounds team, everyone in the club shop, the ticket office, the cooks, the cleaners, everyone in the office keeping things ticking over, Liam and his unbelievable video content, the amazing teamwork in the bars and tables in various different bars and lounges around the ground, the photographers, the programme sellers, Lee, the flagman, the stewards, everyone that keeps the club in working order. John Moore up on the gangtree with Martin, his trusty steed, on camera. Can we give everyone, all these backroom heroes, a massive round of applause? But now, enough of that nonsense. It is what we're here for. It is the awards, and I've got a clicker. I'm in charge of this, aren't I? Good Lord. Okay, it is now time for the Player of the Year Awards 2022 to 2023. First up, we have the Grimsby Town FC Disabled Supporters Club Young Player of the Year, who will be presented with the Ben Curry Trophy. And I think I speak to everyone when I say Ben is sorely missed this season. So please welcome to present the awards, Ben's family, Heather, Hannah and Taylor.
The winner is, can I get the open? George Lloyd.
It's alright, it's okay, it's alright to feel that way, but you know it's alright. You can take
Probably John Corkin just asked me to put my belly behind George Lloyd. Unbelievable. Next up is the Grimsby Town FC Disabled Supporters Club Player of the Year, who will be presented with the Daphne Farquharson Trophy. And to present this award, please welcome Sue Carter.
Builds the suspense.
Harry Clifton.
Our third award is the GTFC Sports and Education Trust Player of the Year for services in the community. To present this award, please welcome to the stage CEO of the GTFC Sports and Education Trust, it's Joe Schofield.
And the winner is Sean Pearson.
Everyone really wearing really smart trainers. Sean Pearson just coming up in wellies. Doesn't care. Does not care. The fourth award is for the Grimsby Town Away Supporters Travel Club Young Player of the Year. And to present this award, please welcome to the stage Janice Rook and Terry Hall.
And the winner is Andy Smith.
What a good place to be.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the next award is the GTFC Away Supporters Travel Club Player of the Year, and Janice and Terry are going to stay here actually. So I'll just walk over. Just give you that. Okay, cool. We have rehearsed this. Hello.
And the winner is Harry Clifton.
Just take a seat there, man. The sixth award tonight is the My Energy Player of the Year. We've seen My Energy's name on the player shirts all season, but now let's see which player is getting their name on the My Energy trophy. And to present this award, please welcome to the stage Partnership Development Manager at My Energy, it's Ben Harris. Look at
Good evening, and the winner is, he's one of our own, it's Harry Clifton.
Strong again. When all is lost, I will find the truth.
of the Mariners Trust Player of the Year. To present this award, please welcome to the stage 2 young members of the Mariners Trust, Molly Daly and Callum Howard.
Harry Clifton.
Lovers kissing on a bench and singing wide-eyed to yawn, all turn to find all streets alive and chat with footsteps all the time.
We're now down to the final 3 awards of the season, and these are the awards that have been voted for by you, the fans. The first of which is the much coveted goal of the season, and thankfully, unlike a few seasons, there's been a fair few boos. Let's take a moment to have a look at the contenders of goal of the season.
Trying to let play go. Well, hang on a minute. How many times can you foul somebody? Oh, yeah! Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant! Brendan Kiernan.
Capped off a dominant first half display with the opening goal. Looking across again, it's a free header! What's it in? Grimsby Town do have the lead, and having just been denied moments earlier, Holohan is there again. And his third goal of the season in all competitions. Grimsby are ready to respond, and they have. Can you believe this? Harry Clifton takes it 2-2.
Out for 3 minutes, by the way. Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant! What did I say? Hard and low? Whoa, what a belter!
Quick for the visitors. It's cut out on Clifton. It's got a long hit to Lloyd. Darts, brilliant! George Lloyd breaks. With a lock. Lloyd simply is with it. Check. Pulls it back, and there's a shot at goal, and what a finish that is! John McCarthy with a brilliant check. He can't quite believe it. It's something out of nothing with Grimsby Town. Plenty of options in the penalty area to delivery. It's cleared. Oh, thunderous hit. Bryn Morris. Well, where did that come from?
Round applause for all the goals this season. To present this award, please welcome to the stage Vice Chair of Grimsby Town Football Club, Andrew Pettit.
So the winner is Gavin Holohan and Hartlepool.
Good to see Gav Stonker on the screen again. The goal. Anyway, the penultimate award this evening is the Grimsby Town Supporters Young Player of the Year. And to present this award, please welcome to the stage Club Chair Jason Stockwood.
Okay, and the winner, young player, brilliant, Evan Coy.
Tells me to stop feeling, to feel about us. Try to fight it, but it's never enough.
And now, the final award of this evening, the big one. The Grimsby Town Supporters Player of the Year, as voted for by you. To present this award, please welcome the legend that is, Paul Hurst.
Okay, I'm racking my brains with this one, so I'm not sure who it will be. But he's at the top of the stats in training and in games, so he'll be at top of the stats tonight. Harry Clifton.
So there we have it, folks. Those are your Player of the Year awards for this year. Please, a round of applause for all of the winners this evening, if that's okay. I'm now going to invite to the stage, it's going to be a few minutes, he's just sat down. Please welcome back to the stage, just to say a few words on this season, Paul Hurst, Andrew Pettit and Jason Stockwood.
Nothing like having a microphone thrust in your hand and told you need to do a speech. Thank you for that, Jack. Really appreciate it. Well, firstly, just want to say thanks for coming out tonight. It's wonderful to have an evening where we can get together and try and think about the stuff we've achieved collectively this season. So I just want to say, on behalf of myself and everyone associated with, firstly, thanks for coming. Your support, we don't take it for granted. It's appreciated. The club exists because you're here, and exists beyond when we're here because of you guys. But also, I want to say thank you to Debbie and the team and everyone that makes nights like this possible. I want to say thank you to Paul. I put a note in to pause at that point normally, if I'd known I was doing this. I'd like to say thank you to Paul, the players, and also the players' partners that are here tonight. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes on in this job. I've seen how hard unlike anything I've done in my career, I've seen the sort of graft that goes on by the players and the people that work at Blundell Park 52 weeks a year, so I'm hoping everyone gets a break, but the amount of effort that goes in, as a fan you think it's hard, but once you're inside the organisation, you realise just how hard everyone's working to improve this organisation. So thank you to the families that are associated with the players and the staff as well, because I know everyone makes that sacrifice. But most of all, again, I just want to say thank you to everyone here tonight for the support. We don't take it for granted, we appreciate it. And I said this last year on Top of the Bus, and I mean it again tonight, even though I'm 2 pints of Guinness in. We're just getting started. So this is the beginning. We're going to keep improving. We want to keep going. And this is the real value. So thank you.
I don't think there's a lot I can add to that, as usual with Jason. It's been an amazing season. I think if we all look back over the last 12 months, we've had more games. We played more games than Man City. That kind of puts it in context. And Man City made it to the Champions League semi-final and various other cups, of course. So no, it's been an amazing effort by all the players, and I just want to pay good respect to all the players who didn't win awards tonight, who've all made fantastic efforts to the collective performance of the team. And again, I'd like to echo thanks to Paul and Chris and all of their team. Again, they've done a fantastic job for us, and you wouldn't imagine. I'm sure Paul will be able to tell you in more detail the work that goes into preparing for Saturday, Tuesday for weeks on end. So they've all done a fantastic job, and thanks a lot to them too.
I'm glad you two went first because I was knackered up and down there. I've probably run more than Harry now. Should take some doing. But a couple of thank yous from my side, as in personally. Andrew just mentioned him. Myself in particular, but probably myself, Chris, more than anyone else, gets a little bit of the sort of press and limelight when things go well. But there's a bigger team behind that, so a personal thank you. You know who you are, you guys at the back. That's from the players as well, I'm sure. Put a lot of hard work in. Fantastic group to work with. I think we have a really good environment, a positive environment. I think the guys enjoy coming to work, which is important to me on a personal level. So thanks to you a lot. Overall, I think it has been a fantastic season. I'm as miserable as anyone in terms of being mid-table and wanting to have done better. So I kind of take that on the chin. But overall, it's been a great season. And as much as we try to help, a lot of that is ultimately down to the players. And as Andrew just touched on, some have been decorated with coming up and receiving awards. But a lot of the time, the ones that I really appreciate are the ones that turn up, train properly, work extremely hard. We have got a good group, there's no doubt about that, good characters. So a thank you to all you lads, even though you probably think we just moan at you most of the time. So well done, lads. So two more things is one, you guys, the fans, because I mean this sincerely, in terms of, I was asked something for the programme, an interview with Joe, and he talked about the special nights, and we've looked back on some of those, I suppose, the FA Cup in particular. But as much as it didn't go well in COVID times, even when things did go well, some results we had didn't feel right because there's no fans there. Now memories are made, and that special feeling, a big part of that is the atmosphere that's created on the nights or afternoons, and obviously that's down to you. So a big thanks for your support. All I can ever promise that we'll do his best, we'll try his best. It might not always look like it or seem like it. It's great when it does work out, but thank you for your support. And lastly, the non-playing staff that try. I know sometimes we're a pain in the backside in terms of trying to fit in schedules or stop bugging us at certain times, stop asking certain questions or certain demands. But you make a big part of the football club as well. And the last one is these two guys who I've said many times, said at the forum, they want the best for the football club. I promise you that. You know, whatever that looks like and whatever people have views and thoughts, they are very much invested in this football club in the town as well. And they will try their utmost to deliver success, but also I think most important to them both is to try and make people's lives better. And if that is getting results, that's great, but there'll be more to it than that. So I think, I've said it before, I think you're very lucky to have these guys involved. Thank you.
Importantly, for all the kids in the audience now, if you want to look at like improving your work rate, Harry Clifton will be over here. If you want to look at improving your dance steps, Danny Amos will be over here. So line up and get your photos and improve your skills now. But thank you to Paul. Thank you everyone for coming. I think Lord's going to finish off tonight, but we really appreciate it.
And so that concludes the award ceremony for another season. Thank you for your continued support, both on and off the pitch. As is testament to this season, we genuinely are truly greater together. Please feel free to stay as the players will be about for photos and signings. The bar will be open, I think, until Tuesday. But before we go, please let's just take one more look back at the season. Take it away, Tomo. Actually, that's me. Let me just do the clicker here. Oh my God, I've got two things here.
Greater together. You see it when you're fishing, but believe it when you're not. London Park, called rain or shine. A last-minute winner agreed to chip up in the rain. Getting promoted back to the Football League at the first time of asked it. Getting to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Knocking out 5 teams from leagues above and taking more than 4,000 fans and Haddocks to the other end of the country, making history. Greater together is celebrating the wins but learning from the losses, making memories that last forever. Knowing that you're part of something, greater together is you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out tonight. We'll see you next season. Up the Mariners!
Footsteps now, it's on.